Yes, currently streaming. Whoops. Hold on,
You
let me.
kicking it off? I'm starting it myself.
Okay. Mr. Steele. Oh, give me 2 seconds. It's always, running the gambit trying to get home. So that's always
Let's
exciting.
Always. And here we are on another episode of the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge. This is what, number 61?
61. Episode 61.
Welcome to the show where we talk like we know a lot of things that we don't really.
We might.
You know, I was told by a talk show radio host that I studied under that really it's not what you know that makes you entertaining, it's what you think.
That is very, very true. Because so many people don't know a whole lot.
Having knowledge without a way to articulate it, you could be the smartest guy in the world, but if you can't make people listen to you, what good is it?
Yeah. That you have no.
Fantasy Grounds Academy. Welcome in and thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us here at the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge. So you probably already did the intro. So
yes,
now we did it twice.
I am Jingo the Fool, captain of the Ship of Fools, also known by many names: Space Ranger, Hey You, Love, and that depends on who's talking to me.
Yeah, right.
And right here, I hope my finger is pointing in the right direction. You're up next, Mr. Hornswoggle.
I am Bill Kelly, Hornswoggle the Great. Not so much the King of Fools anymore, King of Ham, your general neighborhood psycho, super geek. And also with me, we have Clay is trying to join us tonight. Chris.
He was there a moment ago.
Chris will hopefully be joining us later. And Rob, go!
I am Rob the Blacksmith. I also go by many names. Unfortunately, a good portion of those names are not fit for general consumption or for repeating in the company of those of a delicate.
That's okay. We're adult entertainment here. We can
yeah, I don't
say whatever we want. Trust me, I have my screen flagged.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is not a show for kids, unless they're like 18 or older, and that comes down to parenting. If you're swearing and smoking and drinking in front of your kids, then it's probably okay that they watch the show. But generally, no. I would never let Izzy watch this or Willow, the 11-year-olds in our circles. So, my wondrous neat. Episode 61. I was thinking of new topics, but I was kind of really digging on the wizard argument. Because we have a non-stop...
Are we going to introduce more wizards to the mix?
I would like to, because there is an endless amount at Hogwarts. And Dirtstrong. La Ball Academy. So there is... I need to see the... Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Isn't there a 2 and a 3? I saw the first one at the old Dollar Theater. And I was still, that was about 2019. Had to be.
Okay, in my chat, Fantasy Grounds Academy has redeemed a dad joke. And so I'm going to queue up real quick like a wizard dad joke. Y'all ready for this?
Yes.
Why did the wizards show up to the battle empty-handed?
I don't know. Why?
Because their weapons were all at a staff meeting.
Oh, man. That was terrible. Worst D&D joke of the weekend. Every player laughed, and even the people I had to explain it to laughed. Why does everyone love hit points? Why does everyone love hit points?
Yes. Anyways, I can blame Miss Martian Cat for that. She does bad jokes on her stream, and so I picked up that habit.
Why does
But
everyone?
yes,
Why does everyone love hit points? Because they're the life of the party. Oh God,
that's a pretty good one.
fucking that was so epically bad.
Yes,
You're welcome.
that's what makes a dad joke. You know,
What happened when the escalator ran out of power? Nothing. It just stairs. I got a million of them, kids. What kind of socks do pirates wear? Why, Argyle, of course.
I have a whole raft of pirate ones, but I don't know. You know that a pun is not mature until it is fully grown.
Why can't pirates finish the alphabet? They all get lost at sea.
I like that one.
Sorry. How do pirates solve their disputes? With arbitration. God, these are terrible. Are you hearing these? Are you joining us? You are joining us. Okay.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, just testing. 1, 2. Handcrafted and foot slapped by the finest artisans in the realm. Foot slapping is a dying craft, you know. Those damn wine people are buying up all our foot slappers for grape stomping. Goes over very well at Ren Fair. Probably because they're
I'm
already
looking
drinking.
at some of the other wizard jokes on here, and some of them are, oh my,
Terrible.
I don't think we should go there, but we might. We'll see.
But while you're absorbing dad jokes to retell, Rob, what's tonight's cigar?
Oh, I am going to an old standby. This is the Oliva V series. V as in Victor. So the V series, Oliva has a series of cigars that have alphabetic series labels, and the V is more their top line for the series. It's a very good medium-bodied cigar, and they come in all the different sizes. So you have the Toros and the Churchills and the Coronas and the Gorgos.
Nice.
It's a great blend of leaf. And again, Oliva is one of those brands that they take great pride in the consistency in their cigars. So it's one that you can feel confident walking into any cigar store, any humidor. And if you're not sure what else to find, an Oliva cigar will always be a good one. Much like buying a Cohiba or a Don Pepin, any of the larger houses. Of late, many of the larger names have actually been bought by conglomerates.
Really?
So a lot of different brands now live under a single ownership. But the owners have been intelligent enough to try and stay away from changing the brands themselves. They let them operate much as they had in the past with regard to production, the blending, and things like that, because they know that each of these brands has, in some cases, very rabid followings. So you have to be very careful. Think of it this way, the difference between RC Cola, Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, and
brand loyalty.
When they tried to change the Coke recipe, well, they got themselves into a lot of difficulties.
I remember
when they
all
figured
that.
out.
Pepsi free, classic Coke, new Coke, Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah,
I remember all that
new
stuff.
Coke or Coke 2 or whatever they wanted to call it.
And
it tasted like Pepsi.
Yeah, it did.
Exactly.
I really miss 7-Up Gold, and most.
I like
recently,
7-Up Gold.
They had
there was another one they had You remember Upside Down 7-Up
Yes.
or DNL? I love that stuff.
Yep. Jolt
You know
Cola.
the one I miss?
Ah.
And I only miss it now, I think, because of nostalgia.
Are you able
But
to... You're...
used to get Bubble Up in the glass bottles.
Yes.
Up north, you go up to the ranch, you go into Mayor, or, areas like that with Grandpa, and they had Bubble Up in the coolers outside on the front porch. And so you could pick up a Bubble Up. And I don't know that I could tell the difference between Bubble Up and 7-Up and Sprite necessarily today. But that's one of those ones that sticks with you. It's like, I remember growing up here in Phoenix, I grew up going to the very first Peter Piper Pizza. The pizza's nothing to write home about. But those memories, that original Peter Piper Pizza had an organist. They didn't have any video games or anything else. And Tony, the guy from the commercials who was the face of Peter Piper
Pizza. Yeah.
When I was growing up, he was still working behind the counter.
Was that the one
he
out
would
in Mesa?
come out and talk to you. No, the first one was in Glendale, 43rd Avenue and Glendale. You're thinking of Oregon Stop, which was an incredible place to go to. Yeah.
It's still there.
Oregon Stop, that was their claim to fame. Neither place had incredible pizza, but we had the organist at Peter Piper, and Oregon Stop had that beautiful organ system, that multi-function, traditional style organ with all the additional instruments and everything else.
It looks like they stole it from a church.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Probably did.
It wouldn't put it past me.
Pipe organs are fascinating things. For hundreds of years, they were by far the most complex machines made by man.
Oh, yeah. The Scottish Rite House of the Temple in Washington, D.C. has had an organ there since, the beautiful pipe organ, since the building was constructed in the late 19-teens. This last year, they completed, I think it was a 3 or a 4 year restoration of the organ, the control systems, and all of the pipes. And the first thing they did was they did a live showing that they then recorded of Phantom of the Opera, and they brought in an organist to play. And so what they did with the recording was they called it the Phantom of the Temple. And you got to hear this beautiful organ play for the first time in
the
many years.
Traditional music, or was it the Andrew Lloyd Webber music?
I think it was more of the traditional music. I haven't watched the series yet, but they brought in the traditional organist specifically so that he could play along with the film.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Oh, still a baby. Yeah, the Oregon Stop Pizza was great because you always had the person that was playing the organ was also mic'd on the PA system, and they seemed to always have that Adventure Cruise Disneyland kind of mentality while they're playing the organ. And they'd start insulting people and telling jokes in between songs. It's always a good time.
And they would always take your requests. And if the guy knew how to play it, happy to play it. If he didn't know how to play it, he'd tell you, and then he'd say, "What else would you like to hear?"
Yeah, what else you got? All right, let's fuck with this guy. Let's make it hard. I want to hear The Entertainer by Scott Joplin.
I'd like to hear Mexican Radio by ZZ Top. Go for it.
Wall of Voodoo.
That's right.
Flight of the Bumblebee.
Good luck, buddy.
Flight of the Bumblebee. Fuck you. Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Back to kind of on topic. Wizard battles. What are some of the other wizards we could throw into the mix? I mean, we've got the mighty Merlin, the classic. He's the classic wizard of wizards. We've got Gandalf. I mean, only Gandalf could be Gandalf. Dumbledore for a more modern take on the classic wizard, and
the classic was essentially fire-wielding Merlin. We discussed that last time.
Yeah,
So,
and then we could add in maybe
Pug,
Raceland
Majere
from the from
Dragonlance, and
Dragonlance.
I went back
Elminster from the Forgotten Realms, I'm sure Morden Kanan, who is basically, if Elminster is Ed Greenwood's personal character, Morden Kanan was Gygax.
Which is personal, yeah. Oh, I want to correct for last week because I went back and watched the episode and I thought you said one name when you were talking about the Dragonlance. You said Fizban, but I didn't hear that. I just heard you trying to say Fistandantalist, and those are two totally separate wizards. We did not bring up Rincewind from Terry Pratchett's Discworld at all, which is a shame because that is one of the most...
He's an epically sad wizard.
Epically sad, and I've got the most powerful spell ever made in my mind. I can't remember what it is or how to cast it. How many books? Like 9 of that. After a while, the joke gets old. Love Terry Pratchett. That's not a slam.
I looked up a list of wizards just to get a better idea. And it listed Ged Sparrowhawk. I think you guys had mentioned Ged. It listed... I was kind of surprised because I never would have equated this particular character from folklore as a wizard. But they're listing the Baba Yaga. But I always thought she was more of an ancient witch and elemental. But
yeah.
But then you get into the semantics of what is a witch, a wizard, a warlock, a sorcerer, an enchanter.
They're all the same thing.
Yeah,
they're also listed
for this purpose, they're all kind of glooped together.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You both said that at the same time.
They're listing Dr. Faustus. But he made the... Well, I guess technically for his knowledge that he got from the devil, but I don't know.
Isn't he an alchemist before that? And do alchemists factor in on this list? Because then we can add like the Invisible Man and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because those are tools of alchemy, much like Frankenstein's monster Adam would almost be also in this area, but even in was it D&D 5th edition or Eberron or something, they have the War Forged, which are essentially just like D&D androids.
Yeah, kind of.
But where do you get the soul? Is it from like the Gulf and
I
Christianity?
honestly don't know.
Yeah. Because
I'm one of those people that would never allow Warforged in my D&D game because I think the concept falls short for me.
Yeah.
For the same reason I wouldn't allow an undead player character unless we were, playing a game where everybody was undead. Like
like playing a Wraith kind of game.
Martian Cat brings up Harry Dresden as another wizard to add to that list.
Yes, great show. Never read the books, but everybody raves
about
about
it. For that matter, we could pull a few others from the Harry Potter. I mean, Voldemort, Beatrix, Sirius Black. There's it's a whole gang of wizards. In
Molly Weasley's no shirker. She brings down Bellatrix Lestrange in the books and in the movie. Don't you touch my daughter, you bitch. That's pretty much how it happens.
The Weasleys are not taken as seriously as they should be.
Bill does. He's a fucking dragon handler. You can't, not take that seriously. You'll die. Because you're right. Percy is kind of useless in a sense because he's focused on power. Ron's a little brother. The twins, you can't really deviate them from their storyline unless somebody they love is directly affected. Because otherwise they're just making up gags and jokes and all kinds of,
They are what they are.
They're another class all to themselves. Also, Pug and Macross the Black, are they on the wizard list, Rob?
Pug was. I just pulled up a second list, too, that had some interesting ones here. I don't know that I would qualify.
We're also not taking into account Dr. Fate, Scarlet Witch, Mordred,
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, and his
Satana.
friends. Or her dad.
This is listing...
Yeah, we haven't pulled in any of the superhero wizards yet.
The problem with the modern magic thing is you have to read these ancient books to understand all of these arcane powers. So it's like you're kind of stuck in a story because there's only so many places you're going to get something like that. My grandparents own the Magic Antique Store, and I have mystical powers now and fight crime.
Another trope with modern fantasy is, okay, let's say we have a modern fantasy world. Is magic and the fantastic something that is known to everybody at large, or is it something that's hush-hush, secret? For instance, an example would be Vampire the Masquerade, where vampires exist, but the whole society is structured around, pretending that they don't. And even if you're not part of the vampire society, you are expected to maintain the masquerade.
And keep it going. Unless you're in the Sabbat, which is a lot of fun to play, but those campaigns don't last very long. Because once you piss off the Camarilla too much... Oh, sorry.
Mage, I don't know anything about the lore of the game, but I know Mage the Ascension is the same thing.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if they deal with magic as a...
What was that?
That was me ripping Velcro.
Okay. All of a sudden this noise happened and he didn't move and I didn't move and... What are you doing?
Yeah,
here's a few...
Messing with the pocket of my cargo shorts.
So we've got Circe Latham.
Circe is a pain in the ass in the DC universe.
You talk about Hecate.
Also
Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft.
Greek goddess of witchcraft.
Medea.
Who is it?
It's Apollonius of Tyana, which I am not familiar with, but it's an ancient Greek mythos.
What about...
so it's kind of interesting.
And real ones, too, where you have Mother Tipton and... oh, God.
Hermes Trismegistus is listed.
Yeah. I wouldn't consider Aleister Crowley powerful. He was more of a sideshow psychic than he was just go
this list is showing.
Just go read about him and you'll learn. I don't want to tell anybody.
Here's one I wouldn't have thought of offhand. Solomon. King Solomon. He was known to have used a great many magical and mystical things his time.
I don't think there's a mage type of Merlin character in the Gilgamesh saga. He's kind of on his own accord, and a lot of him just thinking he knows what to do and then fucking everything up is kind of a lot of the story.
Would you classify Morgan Le Fay? Just came up in reference to Merlin, of course.
Yes.
Morgan was... Yeah,
yes,
so...
She was a rival wizard to Merlin.
I have
Nicholas Flamel.
Flamel. They even mentioned... And he's in the Harry Potter series, because he's like 600 years old or whatever. But I'm reading Morley's Morte d'Arte, Arthur. He translated it from ancient French in like 1959. I read the whole prologue after it was like his big, besides writing poetry and doing a bunch of other stuff, it was his big project after getting back from World War II. And all of the Arthur tales kind of read a lot like Greek myth or Norse myth, where there's no...
Where they evolved from, I believe.
Yeah, there's no like timeline. It's just, after this happened, these knights are doing this. So you just kind of go with it. And I understand why it fell out of favor, because it's a craftily made rerun. It's an Old West tale. It's Robin Hood. It's playing cops and robbers. I mean, they meet each other. They joust. They kill one another. They don't kill one another. One guy dies. The other guy dies. Or, my lord, let me shake your hand and hug you and kiss you. And now we are brothers. Come, join the round table. And I'm 200 pages in, and there's got to be 700 or 800 jousts already. I mean, so-and-so killed 60,000 knights. There weren't that many people back then in 900. So it's a fun, fantastic tale. But like both of you and Clay and I were talking about it, it's a tale to teach the knights chivalry and to kind of get them to respect women and to stop killing each other. And it's more of a tale of moral conduct and chivalry and how to act. And you don't have to attack somebody every time they dishonor you in public, because this guy might be a fucking Lancelot or Tristram or Sir Gareth, and now you're in a whole lot of trouble and probably dead. So it kind of gives those kind of lessons in most of the tales. But Morgan Le Fay is in there, and she does... One story is Tristram is kind of the main character, but Lancelot's there. She makes a drinking horn that it leaks when a person drinks out of it and they've been adulterous. So that causes this huge fight at a party, even though they know that she brought it and what it does, and this is probably going to be some kind of demonic witchcraft, as they say in the book. So even back then, but in the honestly showing up in the other books, her magic is as subtle as Gandalf in a large group of people. It's not really spells and abracapocus. It's more like just kind of influencing the group. They don't know that she's doing it. So it's more Merlin and the Belgaria and the Malorian series, where it's, you guys are mentalists, you're not, or psionicists. You're not really wizards per se. Same thing, it's your Dr. Manhattan. Same thing with Scarlet Witch on a certain level, because her magic isn't really
it isn't really magic. It's just raw manipulation of power.
Yeah, it's raw with that magic theme, because that's what she likes, and that's what to quote.
Now, I've got a couple of other wizards or wizardesses to throw into the mix here.
Please.
First off, how could we miss Maleficent?
Oh, crap. Yes. You're right.
And second, and more so the version from the TV show Once Upon a Time than from the movie Snow White, the Evil Queen.
She was hot, too. That was a great show.
She was fucking hot.
It was a great show. I watched almost all of it, I think. I didn't see the very last episode.
I didn't see the last season with the older Henry. I kind of bailed out for that, but
Pinocchio.
Yeah, we faithfully watched a lot of it. Oh my!
Pinocchio
Lord,
was
a lot of it.
Pinocchio was the stranger on the motorcycle that shows up. I think we got to the episode after that, because I thought that was very well done. I thought they did a great job with how Little Red Riding Hood is portrayed, where it's kind of like that Griswold's video, Beware the Dog, where, you know, she is the big bad wolf that's chasing her through the forest. She is the little girl and the wolf, because when the hood comes off, she basically, it's like, you know, lycanthrope time. It's time for lycanthropy. roll your willpower so you don't fucking panic right there and shit on the floor.
Here's another name that popped up that I would not have equated, but it's on this list on ranker.com, I guess. Marie Laveau.
Absolutely.
Didn't she torture a whole bunch of people in New Orleans?
Well, she's the voodoo priestess.
She was
voodoo priestess.
Voodoo Hongun, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking
Real
of what's her
life
name.
Marie Laveau, no.
Okay.
Yeah, she's an actual real person.
That's that one is one. She is one that I would in no way wish to cross for any reason.
Also, Rob. Sorry, we're going to do it this way because it's easier to delineate. Also, Jingo, the evil queen from Snow White in the cartoon with Disney. You know, what started it all. She's really more of a possessor of enchanted items than an actual, because you don't see her actually do anything.
That's why I specified the Once Upon a Time version.
No,
She
what
is a
I'm
wizard,
thinking.
yes. Yes.
Because
There's another real person that popped up on this list. I don't know that I agree with it, but he was a mystic and all of that. But Grigory Rasputin, I don't know that I would give him the
Yeah,
same.
when you talk about the rumors surrounding his death, how
Yeah,
they had to kill him
they
like 5
poisoned,
times to
they
get him to
shot
die.
they choked him, and then they threw him in the
drowned him.
river, and he didn't die. He was still swimming around asking for help. I honestly, okay, Rasputin is normally portrayed as a villain in the majority, like the Anastasia movie where Meg Ryan is Anastasia. He's portrayed as a villain in the Hellboy. I think he's in the comic too, isn't he?
He was in
He's in the
the
first
King's
movie.
Man movie as a villain as well.
But when you watch the documentaries of people that are descendants of the individuals that actually interacted with Rasputin, he's not thought of as this villainous character. He's thought of as more as a kind of the way that in the 19th century, in the 1800s, it was fashionable to have a hermit live in your garden and come out and just act weird. And I think we talked about it on the show before. So he's kind of regarded as that, where the noble family was very amused and impressed with him. And remember, he's a monk. He's not even a priest. He's on this path. And then he gets all this political power. But the way they portray him in the movies, he's more of like this crazy overlord, where in real life he would write down to some, somebody in power, please promote so and so. They're a very good person and they deserve a promotion. Signed, Gregory Rasputin. And most of these guys would just laugh and throw the paper in the garbage or burn it, because he wasn't taken. In America, he's this ominous force of evil, and like Christopher Lloyd plays him in Anastasia. I mean, he's this like him and Hank Azaria do a fucking great job, and nobody ever talks about that movie. But they're a dynamic duo
You're
because
talking a live action Anastasia?
no, it was. I hope
The animated one?
the animated
I
one.
believe that was Kelsey Grammer that played Rasputin in the
I
animated
might be
version.
wrong. I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Kelsey Grammer, but I could be wrong.
Save us.
Somebody out there in audience land,
Save us, IMDb.
Google foo us.
You'll stop this
Here's a
argument.
modern witch that I had never heard of and kind of surprised me. Her name is Margaret Atwood. She was a journalist and an author and a Wiccan priestess. She made this list at number 190.
Now, living witches that I didn't get a chance to meet, but the woman that I learned from natal astrology from in the early 90s. You are correct. Kelsey Grammer, not Christopher Lloyd. I am wrong. Chalk that one up on the scorecard, folks.
According to the wiki, Martian Cat says it was Christopher Lloyd.
Mandela, I know. Mandela
I don't know.
effect
Now
is
I'm
in
going to
effect.
Google it for myself.
Mandela effect is in effect right now. Time warp. Thank you, CERN, Universe M. Why do all of your pants suddenly get caught on your ankles? Because 10 years ago that never happened? CERN! Why do... I could be here all night doing this. Let's not. But I disagree with the Rasputin as, if anything, he's more of a mentalist in that grouping than an actual... Yeah. He may have had mystic powers in the sense that maybe he possessed a small amount of precognitive abilities for spidey sense kind of thing, or maybe he had far seeing, or it's the same in my world. Okay, Sybil Leek was the woman I was about to mention, and she wrote a shit ton of books and traveled the world and taught everybody pagan witchcraft and natal astrology and tarot and a bunch of other stuff. I've got I've been giving all of her books away. You read them. You don't need them anymore.
Okay. I was wrong. Kelsey Grammer was in that movie, but he was not Rasputin. It was Christopher Lloyd.
But IMDb. Anyway, so I don't consider Rasputin a wizard. You're a wizard,
I would call
Harry.
him more a mentalist.
Yeah.
He was a mentalist and an opportunist in some ways, but yeah, he was a mentalist.
He has more in common on the scale of his abilities for, say, the Belgarian. I mean, not to that scale. The Belgarian, the Malorian, or Scarlet Witch, or it's the same as saying Edgar Casey is a wizard. No, he just was able to count himself down and remote view other people's bodies and the future and scenarios, and every time people used his abilities for nefarious purposes, he got a blinding headache for like 2 or 3 days and was violently ill. So that's when he eventually had to bring Gertrude, his wife, in there, and she had to sit down there with the people because, he has people that he thinks they're totally normal guys, but these are actually undercover mob people looking for something that somebody left behind. And he gave them the location of it, and it was there. So you got to be careful with your gifts.
That you do.
So then you get into the weird area. Grandpa from the Munsters is a wizard. Or is he just an alchemist? Or does he just possess enchanted items?
He was a vampire with magical powers. It was implied that Grandpa from the Munsters was Dracula.
You mean the old
country? They never actually said it.
Yeah.
They never actually said it, but it was heavily implied that Grandpa was Dracula.
Grandpa's Dracula, like in the Hotel Transylvania, Mel Brooks is Dracula. He's the crazy grandfather Dracula. What? Why aren't we eating the humans? I love it. Oh, because if you're going to exclude vampires, we have to exclude all kind of fairy tale, like the fairies from Fairly Odd Parents, which really pains me forever because
fairies, yeah,
I love
the fairies from Sleeping Beauty as well.
Yeah, the fairy godmothers,
yes, Laura, Fauna, and Merryweather,
and fairy godmother from Shrek, but not Merlin, because oh my god, Eric Idle as Merlin is fucking hysterical, and then you're lame, and he smacks him in the head. I'm just a kid. Wow, that was good. You want some cheese with that ham or eggs with that ham? So Lucius Malfoy's really going to get the shit kicked out of him by Elminster. There, I said it.
Well, yeah, I think Lucius Malfoy is the wizard version of the Dunning-Kruger syndrome. He thinks he's a whole lot more awesome than he really is.
On the nose. Honestly, looking at the books in retrospect, it's a very sad group of outcasts that Voldemort is really the only powerful one. Whoa, that was awesome. We'll never recover. It was an earthquake. Tumbling down in a tumbling weeds. So, but like Rookwood and, Wormtongue, and most of them are not, like Greyback he's a werewolf. So, yeah, he could probably do a certain amount of magic, but that's not really what he relies on, especially in a giant war. So the only way the Death Eaters are really super effective is using all of the not so good races of the magical creatures that are in that weird space where our world ends and the boundaries of Hogwarts are. Because they even talk about magical creatures running amok after the war kind of gets under the way in book 4 or 5, if I'm...
Now, you've read the books. I have not.
Oh, okay.
Is Hogwarts somewhere in England, or is it its own magical realm?
Okay.
Can it not be reached from the mundane world by mundanes, by muggles?
Muggles could, in theory, accidentally get into places like Hogwarts and the Ministry of Magic and Hogsmeade and a couple of the other places, because you would think that these places would be heavily guarded, but they're actually... Oh, or what if a Muggle accidentally falls on the port key? Because, like, on this fucking hill in the middle of nowhere, there's this manky old boot, as they say in the book and in the movie, and as soon as you touch it, it takes you to... And it's not there all the time. It's just for the Quidditch Cup, which is the Super Bowl, the World Series, the hockey.
In Fantastic Beasts, the events that take place in New York City, the fact Newt accidentally is seen by a Muggle, and he suddenly is there. He's transported with them to Hogwarts at some point in time, things like that. So yeah, there's the potential. These places exist, but they have magical covering, magical protections that are meant to try and minimize or limit the amount of visibility by those who are not within the magical realm.
It's the effective plot device of the police box TARDIS, where most of the portals just look like objects that you wouldn't touch because you don't need to. Like, you have to go through the wall at 9 3/4 at the Charing Cross station to get into where the Hogwarts train is. You can't just get on the train.
Which itself, I believe, is an extra-dimensional space. Because it's in the train station, and where you go, I mean, there's other train station in that same space.
In effect, it's the way they describe the astral plane in Dungeons and Dragons, where they're there at the same time.
They overlap.
And they overlap, and they're occupying the same area, but they're not anywhere near each other because they're in different frequencies. They're different form. One is one form of matter, one form is the other. Because in the first year, you take the train. Every year they take the train. They all meet at the train station. It ends with them at the train station all saying goodbye. And that's a good plot device, and then that changes later. But most of it is around the train station, which is actually kind of cool. Because most of the adult wizards don't use the train at all. It's pretty much for the school. And they live there for the entire school year. And they're in the house, and the house is like their family, and all the other crap is going on. The first year they go in on the boats, but I think the second or the third year they go in with the thestrals in the little carriages. And you've only seen these things if you've watched somebody die. So in the very beginning, only Harry and Luna Lovegood can see these things because she watched her mom unalive herself with a spell by accident. And, well, Harry watched Voldemort kill his parents. So they can see... In
that realm, they have other transportation mechanisms of a similar type that are used by the adults. That's when they talk about the night bus in later book and things like that. Yes. So you've got these... They have all of these different things. Plus, in the films... Because I haven't read I haven't read any of the books, and I will admit that freely. The Fantastic Beasts and that series, where they're dealing with the older Ministry of Magic from the United States and Great Britain and whatnot, I believe they had similar transportation setups in the subways and the London Underground, things like that, where they could move back and forth to the places they needed to go, to the Ministry of Magic and things like that, through these additional transportation hubs that were not the same as the Hogwarts train, which was specifically on that, on that particular position in Charing Cross so that they could go to Hogwarts.
One of the good things they show in the movie that's at the Ministry of Magic is most of your wizards aren't like traveling. None of them own any cars. Oh, they'll fly on their brooms, but that's too much attention. They only fly on their brooms when they're in an area that's not, with any people. Most of them travel via chimneys. Because you step into one, you pop out of the other one. Travel to them is instantaneous.
Variation, yes.
Yeah.
I noticed the movies had a lot of teleporting.
Because you learn it when you're doing your owls and the... Oh, God, it's been forever. There's two different things. There's owls. Newts. Thank you, Clay. And that's... They're trying to graduate from Hogwarts. So there's a whole... The movies don't do it justice. Really, I mean, those books are just as worthy as a Netflix show or whatever as The Song of Ice and Fire or any of the other good ones that already is. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. Or aren't they doing it now? I don't know.
What's that?
More Hogwarts.
They're redoing it, I guess.
Oh, boy.
Rebooting it.
There were Zoroastrian magi, according to this list, that were listed as priests having mystical powers. So perhaps in some of those old tales, they weren't named specifically. As you had mentioned, Bill, they don't have a specific magi that was named in some of those old tales.
Gotcha.
But there were characters who were the wizards of the magi.
You must be the wizard of Oz. You triggered that song in my head now.
Because they found a list of mythology wizards. So, and they talk about
I've got that song in my head too.
Gwendolyn.
If ever a whiz, there was the Wizard of Oz is one because.
Oh, I wasn't picking that one. I was picking Existential Blues.
Yes.
There's got to be more.
But for the Existential Blues, you have to have a bottle of Jack, don't you?
Yukon Jack.
Oh, Yukon Jack. Bottle of Yukon Jack. All the answers are inside you. Get away from me, man.
Rather have a bottle in front.
The three wise men, but we don't really actually see them.
No, but they are magi. They are called magi in certain translations.
Yeah, but I think that word means something different at the time.
Well, astronomers was his answers, that they're more of astronomers than they are. And that brings it into the alchemy argument, too, or the artificer argument. Are you a wizard, or are you a creator, or...
Right, what is the definition? What is going to be our delineation of a wizard versus all forms of magic?
Let's just make it all-encompassing.
Well, yeah, all-encompassing, then you've got many more that can be in there.
I forget the character's name, but the movie Dragon Slayer is not what he did to, bind himself into that magic so that he could be brought back to kill the dragon. Was that not alchemy?
Oh, John Gielgud's character, John.
Yes, I don't know the wizard's name.
Hold on. I love that movie.
He was just the Dragon Slayer, yes.
I fucking say that to Rob. Blacksmith, have you ever forged a weapon? Because that's the Peter McNichol line from...
I don't know. Let's see here. Has this blacksmith ever forged a weapon?
Just a few. Oh no, there was a one.
Now, if I could get myself some meteorite, I would lose my mind for a few months just trying to figure out how to properly work it. Little John got a hold of some meteorite.
Star metal sword.
I have a piece here.
Ralph Richardson. Ulrich is the name of his wizard. And Galen was Peter McNichol's name, since he's a wizard too.
Yes, he was the apprentice. But he made some sort of concoction that, it's been a long time since I've seen the movie, so the details are blurry, but he basically bound himself into a totem bag so that he could be brought back to kill the dragon.
That is a meteorite Mjolnir.
Nice.
And John told me that in making these, it took him weeks and weeks of forge welding to get this material to a point where he could work it. And he made one knife out of some of the material. And he basically told me, whenever anybody came to him and said, "Could you make me something out of meteorite if I got the meteorite?" He was very, very polite, but he used a very capital F in bold when speaking to them. There was no PH involved. It was just, not happening.
All right, so it's up to you, Jingo, to let us know from the written, but Thulsa Doom is technically kind of he's more of a cleric, but Mako doesn't have a name. He's just the wizard.
Yeah. I think for the most part when Conan, because bear in mind there are no Conan novels. They were all pulp fiction that were episodic or single stories published for magazines. And the few times he came up against an evil wizard or a sorcerer or whatever, often they didn't have names. They were just a foe there for him to put steel to. And
But I don't know.
However, he didn't practice much magic, but Solomon Kane did know a few arcane tricks. But I would consider him more of a scholar and maybe a hedge wizard. He wasn't a formal wizard, but he picked up a few things that he knew how to work.
Let me ask you this, and what are your thoughts on, if we kind of open this up, I'm thinking about Pinhead, because as a human, he had learned certain things, but then he was transformed as he went through
the Cenobites
and became much more powerful.
I would almost elevate the Cenobites to demon status.
Okay.
Supernatural being beyond the power. I mean, yes, technically they're wizards, but they are so much more than that because they can be called across dimensions and do all kinds of horrible things if you are foolish enough to unlock the box.
Yeah. And then going back to digging deep in the movies, the old lady in the swamp.
Sorry, you dropped out right at the end there.
Oh, sorry. The old lady in the swamp from Pumpkinhead. The one who created, or who gives Lance Henrik's character Pumpkinhead and then creates that.
Sets that loose, that abomination loose on the world.
Yeah, would she be more akin to Marie Laveau, or would she be more akin to almost an underling to Baba Yaga? Baba Yaga's got much more, in that vein, Baba Yaga is much more akin to what I would consider to be almost godlike status. And they never really defined it. I don't know that there's I don't know what the story is that originally prompted the Pumpkinhead film. If there was another story that was written that was drawn from.
Oh, I think it's that old joke that we've been telling since the late 80s. Pumpkinhead. I've seen it. This is what happens when you let a special effects guy direct a movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's fun. It's chud. Fun. It's Jaws. Fun. Jaws 2.
It's a great time on Saturday night at midnight movies. Woohoo!
Don't worry about it. Don't think. Just consume product and enjoy. Yeah, it's
Make
up
sure
there
you
with
get the big Coke and the
Yeah.
great big bucket of popcorn with extra butter.
it's Goonies. It's King Solomon's Mine with 2 hours of Sharon Stone screaming. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark or Poltergeist or E.T.
It's Stan Winston's fever dream.
Okay.
Yeah. We all have our guilty pleasures.
According to Wiki, he wrote the movie based on a poem somebody sent him. Who they wanted some special effects, to go along with it, and he blew it up into a full movie, and then eventually got it made because he was Stan Winston.
So the
Pumpkinhead's
old woman
awesome.
and the old witch in the swamp doesn't have any back character beyond that, backstory beyond that. So she could be the embodiment of the New World Baba Yaga.
I'll give you that, because then she could come back and drag me to hell, and or one of the variations therein.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other movies where there's wizards that do crazy shit, but I'm coming up blank.
With all else, this is a fun mental exercise, and if my therapist is watching, yes, you are appropriate to be a little nervous. This is where my mind goes, and I don't talk about these as often.
That's nerd.
This is a genuine safe space.
Yeah, this is nerd stuff. No, we have social skills. Nerds don't have social
All right. Here's a curveball for you. Are Jedi's wizard? And if so,
Yes.
are Sith?
Yes.
Mentalists. I consider Jedi's mentalists. Because
But in the canon lore, there were very powerful on both sides of what became the Sith and the Jedis. There were some very powerful wizards who were able to do things, at least in lore, that would be attributed to any of these other powerful wizards and mages that we've spoken about so far.
I agree with Bill that they're, for the most part, they're mentalists. They have some psychic power. They definitely have a level of body control that borders on the supernatural. The Sith, I would almost call conjurers or evokers, because they can choke you telekinetically. They can summon lightning.
Yeah.
All of these things that the Jedi can't do. And then throw the twist in. How many people here have watched the Clone Wars? If you have not, Shane,
most of the animated series.
well, you know who the Night Witches of Dathomir are.
I've seen pictures.
They are Force users, and they are absolutely necromancers.
Yes.
They raise the dead. They raise undead. Yes, undead in Star Wars is a canon thing.
And one of the storylines was that they created life when they created in the television series, the Netflix series or whatever it was, where they created the twins.
The Acolyte.
They literally created the twins as an amalgamation. There were no parents as such. The witches came together and created the twins.
Now, I think I've only read like one or two. Definitely Shadows of the Empire. When you're in Darth Vader's internal monologue and everything, and Darth Vader, okay, you have to have an equal swing. Otherwise, the Sith would be beyond powerful with the ability to force choke and lightning. But you never see any Jedi doing that. But one thing the Jedi can do that the Sith have a fantastically difficult time doing is healing. Which is another reason why the whole Luke and Leia's mom dying in labor makes absolutely no sense, because the super powerful Jedi can heal other people.
Well, my take on that is she died because she had lost the will to live. She had wholly devoted herself to Anakin Skywalker, and he turned not only against her, but against everything, the Empire. He slaughtered babies. He tried to kill her. And so she died of a broken heart.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little bit of soppiness on the part of George Lucas, but
It's a
exactly.
little maudlin.
Even
but
the
okay.
robot said he didn't know why they were losing her.
Yes. Fair enough.
And I thought that Yoda had the ability to do the Force lightning, but it was something that he did not do because of his affinity to the light as opposed to the dark.
I
Yeah,
think so.
from what I understand, summoning the Force to do harm is a dark side thing. And so the Jedi could, if they wanted to, summon Force lightning.
Oh, I'm sure they could.
But
why?
Just the very act of doing it is tapping into the dark side.
Yeah. And then in the film, Luke basically creating a fully functional hologram of himself over light years, and being able to fight with his nephew. Was that a matter of a mental trick on his nephew, so his nephew wasn't able to do anything, or was he genuinely able to create a physical presence there? And then when he decided that he wanted to be, go ahead, you can swing on me now, you can touch me, but you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That becomes, is it a true mind fuck or an actual?
I think it was a projection, but you remember he expended so much power to do that it basically killed him.
That he killed himself. Yeah. So
I think it was a mental projection, but it wasn't directed at Kylo Ren. It was a physical manifestation of him projected mentally because everybody saw him there, not just Kylo Ren. Everybody
and he was able
saw him there,
and he was able to physically interact with it.
I don't know that he did anything physical while he was there.
They were fighting with the sabers. I thought the sabers they were deflecting and fighting each other with the sabers until Luke allowed him to strike him. He's like, "Nope, see, I'm not really here."
But we saw that. We saw that in Empire Strikes Back. Luke, go to Dagobah. Talk to Yoda. He will teach you. What? Ben, Dagobah, Yoda. Dude, pass that joint.
Yeah, but that was the projection of the Force ghost as opposed to a physical manifestation that was able to interact directly with the opponent. But to Rob's point, he killed himself.
A lot of leeway, and I don't want to go into too much ragging on the sequels, but I thought Force Awakens was a mess of loose threads that I don't think J.J. Abrams ever had any intention of resolving. And when Ryan Smith came in and was handed the next movie because they had fired J.J. Abrams, he came in and he did what he could, but he had to burn off a lot of threads. And he took some liberties with Star Wars canon that I still have issues with. The Leia flying through space thing, the hyper jumping through another starship thing. They are what they are. They're canon now, and so we can't argue them. But
oh yes, we can.
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I don't want to pick apart the sequel movies. I didn't care for them. No. But I actually thought the middle one was the best of three bad movies, and that isn't making it a good movie. That just meant it was the best of three, and probably for reasons that other people wouldn't agree. But I think he was handed a mess. Is it Ryan Johnson? Is that his name? Ryan Johnson.
It doesn't matter.
And then after him, that movie was so viciously panned by the critics that nobody would touch the third movie, so they had to give it back to J.J. Abrams.
You might want to unmute for what I'm about to say because I know very little about the topic I'm about to breach into.
That never stops me.
Yeah, I would consider the Jedi and the Belgaria, the Mandalorian. Okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea, sorry. But Dune. So are the Bene Gesserit, are they witches? Are they mentalists? And then therefore, because Paul Atreides gets to the point where he doesn't need the machine to use his sonic attack anymore. He's basically Sonic Boom from Sky High, Banshee, or
That and the
I would
navigators.
say they're witches. The navigators are just mutates. They've taken enough spice that they've started to mutate beyond whatever they were. Because didn't the navigators start out human?
Yeah, but they can fold space. That's, I mean, the navigators are able to fold space itself. So just makes me wonder, would they qualify because of that attribute? Their ability to, well, and they have similar abilities to the Bene Gesserit sisters, but they're not as attuned to reading minds and whatnot, I don't think. But their ability to fold space frightens everyone.
Don't they have precognitive abilities? They can see the future because they need to see the future to travel.
The Bene Gesserit do, yes.
What about the navigators? They would need.
I think the navigators do as well, a little bit. That's why I said I think they have
space travel,
some skill, but not. They're not as skilled as the Bene Gesserits, and of course Paul Atreides becomes something special, and then I understand that over time in the books, he morphs to be much more, become a hybrid worm was the way it was described.
Isn't that his sons or his grandkids that do that? I know the one. You're right. The one boy does. Is it him or is it becomes? Is it him or his descendants?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I haven't read those. I will openly admit that I am not that geeky enough to have done all of that.
You're off the council. No.
That's right. I got lost in the Silmarillions. So, you think I'm going to be able to go through all of the Dune books? My pea brain can only handle so much. That's why, hot red metal, hit with hammer.
Oh, Panda needs love. I've got Stella.
So the Bene Gesserit are witches, and they do have prescience. They can see into the future. What they're trying to bring about is the Kwisatz Haderach, which is supposed to be a female Bene Gesserit witch. And Paul's mom, Jessica, decides that she loves the Duke, Atreides, Paul's dad, enough that she's going to give him a son and make him a Bene Gesserit. So he gets all the training that the Bene Gesserit do. So eventually he confronts the Bene Gesserit. I think it's the Reverend Mother, the head Reverend Mother Bene Gesserit witch. He confronts her with the fact that you can see this far, I can see past that, which totally freaks them out because it was not what they've been expecting since way back, because they've been planning this for centuries through Kwisatz Haderach genetic cataloging, and it is Paul dies, but his son does eventually become a worm.
Okay. And what about his sister? She had incredible powers too. As she was developing in the womb, she had incredible powers and was frightening to everyone.
The one David Lynch movie I've seen. My brother is coming.
Okay, so Aaliyah, which is the one that you're talking about, was in utero in Jessica. And Jessica, in order to become the Reverend Mother on Dune, has to drink the water of life, which they get by drowning baby worms. And they drown them, and then they pull the water of life out of them. So that's actually what makes Paul the Kwisatz Haderach, is he drinks the water of life, and he kind of half dies for a few days, and when he comes out of it, he's like, I can see everything now. I can see what you can't see. But Aaliyah, his sister, she is also the Duke's child. Jessica drinks the water of life while Aaliyah is in utero. So Aaliyah becomes essentially a Reverend Mother infant. So that's why she is so powerful. And,
Right, she becomes an incredible force over time. After she's born and she gets a chance to learn more, she surpasses all the others, doesn't she?
Exactly. Yes, she does.
So she becomes even more powerful than any of the other Bene Jesuits had thought they could.
Yeah. In the Children of Dune, she has actually turned against everything that Paul and Jessica and the Fremen are trying to accomplish. She's running things, but she's not really doing what the people want.
She's got her own agenda.
She's got her own agenda, exactly. Okay. And she meets a bitter end. So
that whole brother and sister dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Mom. Yeah, go for it.
She already knows.
She figured it out a long time ago.
No, thank you, because I haven't read the books. I've watched a whole bunch of documentaries, but that's not the same.
I saw the David Lynch movie a long time ago.
I enjoyed the new movies. I thought they were done really well.
I played the video game, the most recent one.
The one that came out in the 90s? Oh, that one too. So
no, the one that came out this year.
Yeah, I sat and watched a 6-hour version of the David Lynch. It basically has everything that Clay just said, but also adds the history of the Navigation Guild, the Spice Guild, the Ordos, Harkonnen, Atreides. Is there other humans? They're all humans.
Yeah, all the houses of the Landsrod.
Well, you're not. Do you know the difference? I mean, they're just normal. There's no difference to them physiologically, right? They're just people. They're just Ordos, Harkonnen, Atreides, Fremen.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, because when you read about the Harkonnens, and in all of the movies, they are different. Baron Harkonnen in the latest series, he's taking like oil baths. So, completely submerged in oil.
Genetically modified somehow.
Oh yeah.
So these started out humans, so they're mutates.
And in the books, in the movie, they reference Paul being a relative of the Baron. Baron is an uncle or something. So there's a family lineage that strings between all of these houses. So I guess it primarily would be humans who had gone into space and taken over different areas and have grown and changed and developed, but they share a common lineage.
Yes, Jessica is a Harkonnen. His mom.
That makes a lot of sense.
But first and foremost, she's been a Jesuit. So it's a
traditional Shakespearean tale.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Every tale is retold. So.
Yep.
Who are the dudes that are the human computers?
Mentats, right?
Mentats.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they take spice, but not nearly to the level that the Navigators deal with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that is hypnagogic.
And they speak they're capable of speaking in binary.
Yeah, the Lynch movie was my only reference for the longest time. So, And then when you watch the 6-hour version, a lot of it are just narrated stills that move. You know, slowly go across the screen and zoom in and out.
I really like the sci-fi version. I thought that was pretty good.
The one that came out in like the early 2000s or the teens. Yeah, I like that one, and Gabe was also saying that's a lot more realistic than the Lynch. So
it follows the story, the original books better.
He's the expert in this room. So in the Zoom room, or what is this?
I defer to him. I am not the Dune expert.
You are the Discord guru for Dune. Till we find somebody else.
There you go. Clay's going to have to start his own YouTube channel just explaining to dimwits like me, this is what Dune is. We're going to start here. We're going to have a 6-year explanation of what Dune really is.
I don't think that's enough time.
A lot of books
like I said, for dimwits,
stick with people forever. Like, okay, we were talking about it. I know another guy who fell off a mountain, and it happens a lot out here in Arizona. Clay's fallen off a mountain. Mike Robinson's fallen off a mountain, and Mike was in like a body cast, and he read like all of Tolkien and all of them because you're not going anywhere when you're in a body cast. But he also read Battlefield Earth, and he also read The Invader's Plan. And I said, wow, The Invader's Plan, you actually stuck through that, because I don't know.
Is that the 10-volume?
Okay.
Yeah, I read that in the Army. Oh, my God.
All right. Hold on a second. Mike read it, and I said, wow, 10 books. What's it about? And he said, well, it's about a war and space and all this. And the only thing he mentioned out of 10 fucking books was the part where the main character has hull boots on because he didn't have time to take them off. And he's, come up here. Yeah. He's walking in a palace he's never been before in a weird, and he was counting how big the room was by how many echoes the boots made. 10 books.
Yes, I remember that.
10 books, and that's all you remember?
Yeah, I read them too because I was in the Army, and you're a captive audience there. You spend a lot of time
waiting.
Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Oh my God! And so, yeah, I read all of that, and I still wonder why.
I love you, computer.
Battlefield Earth, I think, was one of the few movies that I actually got up and walked out.
That was so fucking horrible. It wasn't even Battlefield Earth.
I already wasn't a real big fan of John Travolta before that movie. I despise him now. Because he pushed to have that movie made.
Well, yeah, he's a Scientologist. They're wizards. They make people disappear. I'm all alone on that one. Sorry.
We've watched a lot of documentaries about, Leah Remini has a whole series about it.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Watch her talk about it.
We've gone way, way down the Scientology rabbit hole. They're scary bad people.
Well, they're not somebody.
I remember my ex at one time went to them for a consultation. She was like, "Oh, they want me to sign up for this, and this, and this." And like, yeah, no.
Have fun. It was nice knowing you.
Have fun. It was like,
we're never going to see you.
Of course, only they can fix you. She actually went in and, got tested on that goofy ass, what I don't even know what they call it, the dorkotrometer or whatever thing. They've got this machine that they hook you up to, and they test you on it, and it tells you what's wrong with you and what kind of courses you need to. It's
got yakka gauges on it.
They are not wizards. They are charlatans.
Not wizards.
So they measure your thetan level, and your thetan level is the number of alien souls that inhabit your body.
Oh boy!
Because they believe Xenu is waiting in space.
Exactly. If you've ever seen the South Park episode that explains Scientology, it's right on the money. Yeah.
Anyway, let's not talk at all about Scientology. Oh, that was spit because I'm petting you and you're drooling. Thank you. Yes, take a bath, but only bathe yourself.
I agree. That would be secret societies would be a whole separate
Next episode.
another episode, because we have a member of a secret society, and I'm sure he will not talk at length about it. He will talk about it, but he won't divulge the secrets because
I don't want to know.
Expect him to.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't care. We are going to have Fairhaven Morris. I talked to Jen and I talked to Smashley this last weekend, but we're all working, so the conversations are like 5 minutes and they're very quick. And I did message you. Yes, I see that you did message. Yeah. But you messaged me that day. I didn't expect you to come that day. I told you in the message when you can. When you can. We'll move stuff around of our important schedule. It'll be all right. Topics for all. So is one of my favorite River Song quotes from Doctor Who when they're traveling around in the TARDIS and they get to this one period of time and they're not sure where they are, and the people there start talking about a wizard, and then River Song goes, I hate it when I find stories about wizards all through time, because it always turns out to be you. When she's talking to the doctor.
Probably true.
Yeah. Convoluted plot device, time travel, magic. It's a convoluted plot device. What's that? It's a time machine.
We could do a whole show on the different theories of time travel, because there are a number of different theories.
Yeah. Time travel is an absolute no way, because it never ends well. Okay.
If time is linear, can it be manipulated if you go into the past and future or not? Oh, yes.
I just read this for the third time. It's still absolutely terrifying, and it ends on a cliffhanger. Because the author tells you he goes 3 years later, and the room is unchanged. The time traveler still hasn't come back from the future. Because he went even...
That's because he got ate by Morlocks.
I don't know. I like to think that he went back before Weena got killed and saved her. Because they kind of the Morlocks got her. I mean, when he came to, she was gone. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I'm so... Yeah. The time machine. It's a sad story. Because then those crabs almost eat him when he goes even further into the future. Those giant crabs that are the size of end tables. But yeah, the Arthur...
I do love his imagination.
Yeah. The Arthur myth also has other people that wield magic in it, and most of them are a nefarious nature. And what's her name? I already passed that story. She's the one
Morgan?
that kills... No, the other lady that kills Merlin. She buried... Remember, his fate is to be buried alive. And she tricks him into opening this tomb, that it has to be that person that touches the rock, and he goes in first, and she seals him in and runs away. And then later, knights can hear him yelling, but they can't save him, because it's effectively a magic area. It's not...
It's a one-way, it's a roach motel for wizards.
Pretty much. So it's like a portable hole or a bag of holding where you're stuck, and now you're going to die. There's no getting out. Or even so, there are... Is there any... Have you read the Dark Elf series? Dritz Duerden.
I have read a lot of them. I'm sure I haven't read them all.
I got up to book 8, which...
I'm sure I got up to 8 or 9. That sounds about right.
This seems to be a pattern for me. Raymond Feist books, got up to book 8. Dark Elf series, got up to book 8. But
those were mostly sword. They didn't really have any really strong mages in the
no,
in that series.
I mean, there's villains that are wizards, but Drist dispatches them early on. So it's not like, they don't have the Dr. Moriarty or the Joker recur. They didn't get that contract when they signed up for the story, folks. That's, it's more linear where this happens, this guy's eliminated. I like how he gets Gwenhavar, where he has to kill that wizard that's making him hunt down gnomes and eat them.
Yes, and then get them away.
Because there's really no other wizards in stories. I'm even looking at all my movies. Because most of them turn out to be mentalist. Dresden is an actual wizard where he has spells and he has to enchant things. And
yes, he is. What about
Howl from Howl's Moving Castle? So, Bewitched.
Yes. Considering in this context, we're going to use witch and wizard interchangeably.
Okay, wait a minute. So, Wizards of
Yes, she was a witch, but she uses spells and enchantments and does all the things that a wizard does.
Okay, so Bewitched, Wizards of Waverly Place, the Dresden Files, but then you've also got
Charmed.
Melissa Joan Hart. Oh, yes, Charmed. I forgot about that. I was going to jump to Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because you have a whole family of witch and the hysterical cat that's really a wizard that got turned into a cat because he pissed off the entire wizarding community, which is a really hilarious plot device.
They did a more recent remake of Sabrina, and that was actually pretty good.
I heard it was very dark. I saw it on Netflix, but
it was a lot darker, and it directly involved, Satan.
So that kind of dark. Oh, okay.
Yes, it was definitely not for children the way the first one was. Definitely not.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was awesome because you had the it's basically Mother Maiden Crone living in that house. Because I can't remember their names, but the two actresses, they basically play the other two parts of the female is completely represented in that. Yes, because one needs to be a little older, one's exactly middle-aged, and one is very young.
They repeat that Trinity in the newer series too.
Good.
They've got her and her two aunts, one who is very seriously Satanist, and the other one who is
happy-go-lucky and
very happy-go-lucky. Yes,
because the one is
very much. I never watched the original series because it was again one of those things in the mid '80s. It was going on while I was over there fighting the Cold War.
Yeah, I was at work. 96. Melissa Joan Hart. Easy on the eyes. Okay, hold on.
Oh, is it a '90s show?
Yeah. What?
I was raising young children at the time, and
you can't be lusting over Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
We were usually, when the TV was on, we were watching what the children wanted to watch, which was usually Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. Usually Cartoon Network, because we like the cartoons better than Nickelodeon's, because
Zelda,
a little bit more adult aimed.
Okay, Zelda and Hilda are the aunts' names, but
yes,
that's not.
I forget the name of the actresses that played them, but one of them was what was her character's name in Lord of the Rings? Eowyn's sister.
Oh, that's right.
Eowyn was her name. Eomer's sister, Eowyn. The blonde girl, Eowyn, she played one of Sabrina's aunts. And I don't know who played the other one offhand. But yeah, Kat was really into the Sabrina, and I watched a few of the episodes.
Carolyn Ray, she's Hilda. I remember her name, but Beth Broderick is her. I can never remember her fucking name. Which her name is Beth. That's my sister's name. Salem was the cat, right?
Yeah, same Salem. They
Okay.
still had the cat.
Nick Bakay. The cat was fucking hysterical because they always had him dressed up or like reading the newspaper with glasses on. The puppet was hilarious. Yeah.
I think the second one they used an actual live action cat
Oh, nice.
and probably some minor computer graphics.
They probably just CGI'd his little mouth. Is she the one? Oh, it must be Carolyn Ray that's in. Yeah, Carolyn Ray is.
Would you
Phineas and
consider
Ferb.
you consider Genie to be a wizard, or is she a supernatural being and therefore not qualified?
Yeah, that's Dracula. That's any
True,
other
same
character.
vein.
Yeah,
She's an all-powerful being.
it doesn't fit in as well. Yeah, Carolyn Ray is mom on Phineas and Ferb. Candace, I have Frozens. Candace, I don't have time for this. Candace, I'm at the girls' meeting. Oh God, she's brilliant. I love her so much.
I only watched a few Phineas and Ferb. I'm told I do a pretty good Professor Doofenshmirtz.
Oh, really?
Really?
I don't understand.
Yes. My wife and I, we was doing this voiceover thing where I was playing the villain and I had to have a voice, so I came up with the voice for Professor Doofenshmirtz. However, it is not Doofenshmirtz. It is actual Professor Ludwig von Drake.
It's my brother Roger. I hate him. Mother always favored Roger. I fell down there and I got glue on my records on my fingers and I can't get them off.
Fairly good at doing voices when my wife and I, we were doing visual novels.
That was awesome.
And reading all the characters, cold reading, and doing voices cold reading.
Awesome.
We got good at it.
I don't hear my SpongeBob voice, so I've been using it a lot out at fair, and it annoys the crap out of Frenchie, but all the kids turn around and they're like, so. Oh. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. And he's like, stop it. F is for fire that burns down the whole town. U is for uranium bombs. N is for no survivors. Plankton. Those things aren't what fun is all about. So, yeah. And then I think I talked about it, but I got blown away out there because these kids knew what 1482 Commedia dell'arte was. Because apparently they were studying it in a theater class they were in.
Interesting enough, I was reading an article earlier on the history of role-playing games, and Commedia dell'arte is mentioned among there because...
Awesome.
Well,
that's kind of a role-playing game. Well,
it was. The history of role-playing games originally came out of... there were two elements that eventually came together to be role-playing games. There were war games, which, date back hundreds of years. They were used as... Before they were entertainment, they were used as training exercises for troops and commanders. And on the other end of that, you had historical reenactment, improv theater, and murder mystery games, both of which had been played for hundreds of years, and both of which are forms of role-playing. The Commedia dell'arte was basically a codified and standardized improvisational theater. Here's stock characters, here's stock situations, but there's no script. Go.
It ends when he says this line, decide when we're done. And they would just walk out and, you're going to start, he's going to end, we're going to fill in the middle. That was that. Because they did it at cafes and on corner streets and in little areas where nobody was, and they kind of gathered, much like Ren Fair, where all of a sudden you just start doing a bit if you have to be a street character for a half an hour in a certain area. So, SpongeBob, well, we talked about it because SpongeBob is Harlequin. He's a positive, always upbeat, super happy-go-lucky, just hypercharged, positive hero. And Patrick is a personification of like three of his idiot friends who always get him into trouble. It's not that they're ne'er-do-wells, they're just dumb. And that dumb gets you in trouble is one of the lessons. Sandy is Isabella, and Isabella is she's the smartest, she's the strongest, she can figure out the problem, she knows how to solve everything, but she never nobody listens to her. They all treat her like she's mentally retarded. Because she's a woman. You don't know what you're talking about. This is the 15th century. What do you know? And she ends up throwing her hands up through most of the scenes because she has one of those "I just said that last week" kind of existence. Whereas Pantaloon is super severe. So to make him palatable for a Nickelodeon audience, they split him into two different characters, Mr. Krabs and Squidward. Because Mr. Krabs is all about money, but he's not a negative miser who's out to fuck everybody over to get money. He just loves money. And that's all. He loves money and Pearl. And there's absolutely no mention whatsoever of
evil.
Well, no, his mother. I mean, Pearl's mother. Why does Mr. Crab have a daughter and she's a whale, but there's never any mention of his wife? Never once. And he even has a romantic fling which satisfies the young lovers. I've been giving it some thought because before I said the young lovers are not represented, but they really are, just in different idioms, where the young lovers could be represented in the episode where SpongeBob goes to the prom with Pearl because Octavius Rex breaks up with Pearl. They have a spat. The fry cook. So also there's a whole episode where Mr. Krabs falls madly in love with Mrs. Puff. So it's already kind of represented. So Squidward is the other side of Pantaloon, where Pantaloon delights in everyone else's misery. He's just an unhappy, miserable person who never has anything nice to say. He's a money-grubbing, penny-pinching miser on top of it. So it was better for Nickelodeon that they separated those two characters. And then you have El Capitano, who is Larry the Lobster. He's impressive. He looks awesome. He's all this great military pomp and circumstance. You never see him do anything. He's absolutely completely useless because Isabella, Sandy, is going to save the day. Sandy the squirrel is Isabella. I know we kind of jumped over the equation before, and other than that, you've got plants that would be the main actor's friends that would just dress in normal clothes and just order food and sit in the cafe and and support they're not really a character, they're just a patron at the place. I'm just having a beer here while I'm watching the show. So that's kind of, it's endless, just like Bugs Bunny is endless, because all of the Commedia dell'arte took from the ancient Greeks and the Roman theater and the Chinese theater and all of the stuff that was out there that was around, and they kind of homogenized it to, well, it wasn't Northern Italian, it was what does it say in the thing, Jingo?
I was looking. It only mentions it briefly in the article, but it does give a link to Commedia dell'arte. So let's go over to Commedia dell'arte and see what it has to say.
I think it's the northern part of Italy comes up with it first, but it's not Italy back then. Italy isn't
popular in Europe between the 16th and 18th centuries. It was formerly called Italian comedy in English, and is also known as Commedia del Maschera, Commedia Improvisio, and Commedia dell'arte al improviso.
It has a long tradition. And they have masks, so you know who each character is, and they have costumes, and they make bizarre noises, and it's imitating human life and through foible and comedy. I was talking to people. I have all the best jokes. You can't insult me. My jokes about me are way better than your jokes about me. I've been working on my material about me for over 50 years now. Your jokes are pitiful and weak. Mine are funny because I know what buttons to push about me.
It appears that 1551 is the earliest recorded performance of Commedia dell'arte.
I always heard
That doesn't
14.
mean that's where it
Yeah.
started. That's the first documented of it happening.
Because I heard about it in the 1980s, and that was a slower process than the internet now. You had to actually go to the library and look up books, and there it's varying. It's not like it started here in Florence, and that it's not like that. It was one
It's
of those.
interesting that the character Harlequin in the picture wears the motley.
Yes, Perechino, as he's called in Italian. Because the first
Yes,
time I had
have.
heard about it, honestly, I heard about it through Marco Yuji, who lives in Plano, Texas, who's a dear friend, him and Crystal and the family and everybody, and Alex. But because they're from northern Italy and they had a statue of Harlequin in the living room. The typical Italian thing isn't just in Americans, it's also from Italy, where his mother had the living room that everything was fucking white. It was gorgeous. Everything covered in plastic. And we're not allowed in there. Dude, I ain't going near that room. Are you talking about? That's like to me, that's a radioactive room. I do not want to incur the wrath of your mother.
I had a friend growing up, his mother had a room like that, the front room. The front room,
Exactly.
You walk through the front room to get into the rest of the house.
And you admire it and you go,
but the front room was for entertaining guests. One did not sit on the furniture in the front room because it was covered in plastic and the carpets were covered with runners. And yeah.
This room is pristine
So
and highly dusted. And
we were not allowed to play in the front room. We could play anywhere in the house, but not the front room.
We were 18 and 17. We weren't allowed to juggle inside the... Go outside! Okay. I love his mother. The only woman besides my mother that ever beat me when I was growing up. She turned around and just let everybody have the shoe, all three of us, him and me and his two brothers. We were being assholes in the back seat of the van, and we got what we deserved.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a child, I only got a very few spankings ever, but I think I had all of them coming.
No, Marco and I couldn't stop laughing, and his brother was much younger, and he couldn't stop screaming. It was great. On the way back from Rocky Point. Anyway.
Anyways.
So, yes, wizards. I don't think that... Voldemort in the book and in the movie, he is terrified of Dumbledore. Having a one-on-one Dumbledore. He has no problem taking Harry on or any other wizard, but he knows that Dumbledore will just fucking beat the shit out of him. I mean, it's established in the very first book that Dumbledore is the Superman of his universe, for lack of a better analogy. He is the most powerful wizard. And, I mean, why does he just run a school from kids that are from 11 to 16? Do you really want to run the government? No, he has no interest in that. They come to him all the time. Constantly, the fucking Minister of Fudge and Scrimgeour and all of the fucking leaders of the world come to ask him questions because... he's the shit. All his early life. They touch on it a little in the Fantastic Creatures and stuff, but Dumbledore's like really into learning every kind of magic there is. Like if he was a musician, he would know how to play every fucking instrument that there is with great detail because all of that stuff really fascinated him, and he's highly intelligent and has an excellent memory. So... he's that Rubik's cube of perfection, if you will, where he's just everything lines up. And he's not the only one. The four that start the school are, because it's not just a place for learning, it's a place for protection. Because, dude, one-on-one, a wizard can totally wipe you out. But when you've got a couple thousands of people trying to take down a wizard, eventually somebody's going to get through. So Hogwarts was like a safe place to keep your kids for most of the year, you know. Because they can go home for Christmas, just like in the movies, but Ron and Harry only go home a couple times because why? We're here at Hogwarts. We're having a blast. Nobody's here. We have a dining banquet hall. There's only like 8 of us.
Harry, why would you ever want to go back?
Oh, fuck no. He never wants to. The problem with just a movie is they don't portray how epically lonely Harry is until he reaches Hogwarts. He doesn't have any friends. They literally, if he's not doing chores, they give him a little bit of outdoor time, and then he's back under the cabinet, under the stairs. He's in the cabinet under the stairs. That's where he lives up until like the end of the second book, or I have to read them all again. I do not have an eidetic or photographic memory. I forget shit all the time. I'm wrong all the time. As we saw from the Anastasia thing, I literally thought that was Christopher Lloyd, but it says, Kelsey Grammer is Vladimir.
No, you were right. Kelsey Grammer was Vladimir. Oh. Christopher Lloyd was Rasputin. Because I'd remembered Kelsey Grammer was in the movie. I just didn't remember which one he played.
Yeah, and I remember going, that's Christopher Lloyd, and being super impressed with him doing a villain. But if you think about it, it's not that far off, because he was fucking awesome in Search for Spock as a Klingon captain. He was totally believable as that villain. And I know that comedians did a lot of parodies of Reverend Jim as a Klingon. Oh, go ahead and decloak. But that's even funnier. Because Klingons aren't like that, dude. They're super fucking serious about being the best at whatever and having honor and glory. And so having Reverend Jim as a Klingon would be hysterical on the level of, having him as a Vulcan. Live long and prosper.
That wasn't his best villain role, though.
Good point. No. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I talk
Judge Doom.
Yeah.
He was Judge Doom. That was spot on.
Yeah, that was.
That movie was
And, you know what? His career starts as a villain. I'm sorry. We totally skipped over the greatest movie ever made. And today, the woman, my boss, Karina, put your favorite quote on there. None of my favorite quotes are appropriate for work. Anything worth doing is never easy. Forewarned is forearmed.
Luck favors the prepared, darling.
Oh, I should have used that one. Luck favors the prepared, darling. But no, that's fucking awesome. Oh, yeah. So... Now I totally lost my track of thought. Oh, well. The train derailed. There aren't any magic characters in the Incredibles universe. There aren't any characters in the Mystery Men universe. Not in the Spawn universe either. And I'm trying to think of other...
What about Gargamel?
Yo, Snaps! I love Hank Azaria's version of Gargamel. It was so fucking funny. I thought I was going to hate that movie until he got on the screen. Gargamel is I would say Gargamel's a wizard because you see him doing alchemy many times throughout the original 80s cartoon. And... I mean, he uses magic, and Azrael is his cat, right?
Yeah.
Probably a familiar.
What about the Dungeon Master from Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon?
Solar, demigod, demon, or powerful wizard?
I think he was probably along the same... He was like that world's equivalent of the Maiar. He was like... or the Astari. He was like Gandalf. He was a celestial being. And it was rumored that he was Venger's father.
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about that on YouTube. What about? Oh God, I just had two more and they escaped my mind when you mentioned Gargamel because that totally threw me off. There's two more wizards that we didn't really mention. I can't remember if they're from a show or a movie.
Cartoon wizards?
Yeah. Or show wizards. Because we talked
Well,
about...
if you're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, there's Bobby.
No, Bobby's
But
the Presto.
Presto, is that the wizard? No,
Yeah,
I thought Presto was the horse.
No, Uni is the horse. Bobby... Oh, we talked about this too, but I don't think you were on that episode. Bobby is, there's a lot of theories behind the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. Bobby is the barbarian little brother of, I think, Sharon or Sherry. Because Diana is the thief acrobat, but she never steals anything or picks any locks or lurks in any shadows for some reason. And then 1983 cartoon. Sheila? I think it's Sheila. Hank the Ranger, Eric the Cavalier, Presto the Magician, Venger, Sheila. Sheila the Thief, who never steals anything. Bobby the Barbarian, the Dungeon Master, Diana the Acrobat. Uni is Frank Welker. He's amazing. And Bob Holt is the Shadow Demon. And then there's a slew of other people in it. There is a theory that Bobby isn't real, that he's a figment of Sheila's imagination. Or that he died and she's like trying to make everybody believe that he died. So now I have to go back and watch all the show to find out if people talk to him. But then again, does that mean the unicorn is a figment? Because he and the unicorn spend the majority of their time together.
True. They don't even mention the unicorn as one of the major... Oh, yes, they do. Uni, vocal effects by Frank Welker.
The Frank Welker. Because Willie Ames is Hank the Ranger. And his voice is kind of perfect for the character. And the fact that they finally gave him a lead, because he usually plays a second fiddle to fucking everybody. Ming the Merciless isn't really a wizard. Skeletor, I
don't know if Skeletor is a wizard or not. Or just an evil asshole.
That qualifies.
What about Mumra from the
Ever-Living?
Now he is a necromancer. He's an undead monster.
I
Hunter doesn't like necromancy.
No good creatures do. They smell bad.
He's going to get the necromancer because there's a chance that he could find a good femur bone to chew on.
A good femur bone. It's all in the dice. Think of another. What the fuck? I just had the name of another wizard that was in a movie or a show. It'll come to me later after we're not in this meeting anymore, and I'll post it on. Oh yeah, this. Anyway. So.
Wizard from a cartoon show?
I don't remember. Probably. But there aren't too many
cards. You could trot a bunch of them out. Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Ooh, there's one we haven't mentioned yet.
Poor unfortunate souls
Pat Carroll's awesome.
In need.
Use your body language.
It's only sad that role was written for Divine, who passed away before she could do it.
Divine. It's about time Divine got a decent role instead of being weirdos.
Well, you could tell the character was patterned after her.
That or Mae West. Pretty
obvious.
Yeah.
What?
That or her, Divine or Mae West. They both have the same kind of vibe.
Yes. One of my favorite quotes is a Mae West quote. If you can't be a good example, be a horrible warning.
One of my... I think it's funny, but, oh, you're a nice man. That's right, man. I like nice men. They make good pets. Hey! Yeah, I've seen a couple of her movies. I love Mae West. She's a tiny blonde that has an attitude. Of course I like her. What's not to like? Because I'm trying to think of other what have we missed from the 70s and 80s that has wizards in it? I haven't read the book but watched the cartoon. Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree. Isn't the old man a wizard that takes him on a trip through time and teaches him all about Halloween from all different time periods?
Yeah, I think he could be.
Because you can't do something wicked this way comes, and I was talking about it at work too.
No, because that's really Satan.
He's the problem with it doesn't translate. It scares the shit out of the 1950s, but it really doesn't translate well to 2026 because Mr. Dark's the movie was Disney's movie of Something Wicked This Way Comes was actually a lot more macabre, terrifying than the book. Like if you had, preteen kids and you were going to read them a serious novel, you would read Something Wicked This Way Comes at the beginning of October or the end of September, and then you would, read them The Shining on Halloween night.
Have you read Stephen King's story, Needful Things?
No.
It is basically a retelling of Something Wicked This Way Comes. Somebody comes to town and he starts solving everybody's problems.
It has
giving
everything
them,
you've
giving
ever
them
wanted.
what they need.
Yep.
Yes, it's basically the same thing, only it's Stephen King, so it's much more horrifying and grisly.
Well, the problem is that he kind of, I think with the novel, because there's also a sequel that I have not read, The Illustrated Man, and that's with the movie where Jonathan Pryce is the devil and Jason Robards is the main character who is the old man who runs the library has a very young wife and a 10-year-old son. But they kind of, it's weird to say that it's kind of more impactful the way they do it in the movie when Jonathan Pryce is ripping out the pages of the book and saying the years of his life. You can't walk up the stairs without being winded. 51! And Robards is like under his demonic power. So he's actually feeling older as Jonathan, just tell me where the boys are. Because the boys are hiding in the... And that kind of happens in the book because they see shit they are not supposed to and then they're on the run from the devil. But it's... In the book, he just kind of makes them go away and tells him that the library's closed, where in the movie he doesn't take no for an answer. To the point where he has the tattoos of the boys on his palms and he's squeezing them and the blood is dripping on Jason Robards. And they're not even near each other. They're like 30 feet away from one another. So they focus a lot of him being completely tattooed in the book because in 1950s, he was a sideshow freak, where now it's like, oh, that's my neighbor, that's my friend, that's so-and-so's covered in tattoos,
The completely untattooed man.
Now would be,
yes.
I can be that guy. Hey, look, I got nothing.
Me too. I've got nothing against tattoos.
No, they're awesome, but I don't want any.
I'm not even so sure whether or not I want one. On one occasion when I was in Germany, I actually went in to get a tattoo, but we had been drinking, so they sent us away. And then the impulse passed.
Yeah.
I think I will eventually get a tattoo. I think my wife and I are going to get complimentary tattoos at some point. So I don't have any opposition to it. It's just something I have yet to get around to.
I prefer, I love skin, so I'm not really... I love tattoos for the art. But like the whole, I don't really like it that women have tattoos. But every fucking woman I've dated has had tattoos, and all of the ones I've been with, they all have tattoos. So it's not a deal breaker. It's not something I'm like, ew, or I'm gonna be like, oh, if you only didn't have this or that. It's something that I don't even think about. because
Me neither.
it's art.
At
And it's
some point,
beautiful, and it means
we'll be in
something
the
to
right
you.
place at the right time, and the impulse will strike us, and I'll come away with the tattoo.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't have any opposition to it. It's just something I have never done.
All my exes and even both my children have tattoos, and I don't have any because I don't. I love so much stuff. It would be so expensive, and I can't even pay my bills. How am I going to afford a tattoo? I would spend that money on weed or a new computer. So, you can't. You can only smoke so much weed. In the immortal words of Gallagher, the comedian and fabled melon crusher, at one point, you don't get any higher, you just get less weed. And there's a lot of profound...
that was actually a variation of a George Carlin quote that said, don't smoke dope when you're high. You won't get any higher, just lower on dope.
Just lower on dope. And now, I love Carlin. And now an announcement from the National Apple Institute. Fuck pears! First time I heard that I was 11, and it's still fucking hysterical at 53. Carlin. Anyway.
Yes, Carlin was a wizard of words.
Wizard. Was Ming the Merciless a wizard?
That's a good question. He was an evil conqueror.
But they don't really give him a profession. Yeah, you don't know. Like Skeletor has magic items. Skeletor has no fucking face. Magic is involved, whether he wields it or whether he's a victim of it. They never really go into that. But Castle, wherever the hell he lives, I can't remember. It seems
Grayskull.
No, that's He-Man's house.
Grayskull.
He-Man lives in Grayskull. Where the fuck does Skeletor live? Let's ask. Where?
He lives in a van down by the river.
By the river! Where does...
Castle Anthrax.
Castle Anthrax. It's a terrible name, I know. Snake Mountain. That's the best you could do after Castle Grayskull. Oh, Snake Mountain. Skeletor primarily lives in Snake Mountain, a fortress located in the dark hemisphere of the planet.
Charlie, let's all go to Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain? Oh, I'm telling you guys, I don't want to go to Candy Mountain. Touch it.
Right up the street from Toilet Bowl Gulch. Oh, nice. Cool. We're going to go hang out there.
We need that. We're going to vacation there. Toilet Bowl Gulch. You don't understand. It's very affordable.
It's nice in the winter. We don't go in the...
Yeah, we don't know anything about it. Whoops. I didn't mean to open that. During my computer, valuable. Yeah, RAM.
See, I was thinking about two movies that had wizards that are never really named. I tried to look them up. So there was the Beastmaster, the original Beastmaster. They didn't really name the wizard. There was the evil king who had some magic. And then the other one was Hawk the Slayer, where they had the black wizard, but they never really named the wizard.
Yeah.
So, Jack Palance's character?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Palance played it, because I remember... And this is one of two memories I have of Hawk the Slayer. One was... a giant tracking down one character and beating him until he was a greasy puddle.
Yeah.
And the other one was one of Jack Palance's henchmen failed him badly. So he turned him into a woman and threw him to the army. It's like, that is a messed up thing to do. It's like, oh my God, what a horrible way to go.
Hawk the Slayer was awesome because it's basically a D&D campaign gone wild, and I have to agree with a lot of people. Before the Fellowship of the Rings movies, best representation of how an elf acts and talks is in Hawk the Slayer. As far as like a D&D elf.
Rapid fire, bow fire.
That was a bonus too, but how he talked, how he kind of oh, this is going on. Because elves are disconnected from like what's going on socially. They don't really give a crap about what humans are doing until they're informed about it or it's forced upon them. And for the most part, they're communing with nature. They're lost in their own mind. It was the equivalent of the movie Dudes, if you've ever seen it, with John Cryer and Flea and what's his name, who all of a sudden he just starts acting like a Native American, and he does a great fucking job of your typical how Native Americans were portrayed in like Tom Mix and on to Roy Rogers and all of those. What the fuck is that actor's name? He's been in everything, and he's a great actor.
I've not seen the movie, but I'm going to take a stab and say Lou Diamond Phillips.
No.
Wes Studi.
1987.
He's a Native American actor that...
Oh, no, he's not Native American at all. He's a white guy. He's a huge white guy. Daniel Roebuck. He's a producer now, but he was in a bunch of movies.
Name sounds vaguely familiar. Can't put a face to it.
Hold on. Terrifier 3, NCIS, New York. Okay. In the Munsters movie that Rob Zombie made, he plays the Count. He plays Grandpa.
Okay, I've not seen that movie.
You're probably going to hate it. It's one of those, just have fun with it. This is silly. Don't take it seriously. Elvira's in it, and she doesn't play Elvira. And then she dresses like a witch. It's great. There's so many movies that this guy has been in, and he was John. Oh, he's only in one episode.
I'll have to Google his face, because...
Well, they're punks. You know, he and Flea and John Cryer are going across the country, and they run into these assholes, and one of the assholes shoots Flea. So then they go out into the desert, and they kind of have like a vision quest. And all of a sudden, this fucking cowboy dressed like he's from, like, walked out of the mid-1800s shows up and starts, like, tending to their fire and making... I think he was making coffee or something. And they're out in the middle of nowhere, so they're like, who are you? Where the hell did you come from? And then he kind of, you know, it's the Mr. Miyagi sequence. We're going to teach you how to fight so you can take these guys down. Jesus, he's been in a million movies, but all of them are... He was on like one episode. Disorganized Crime, 1989. He's on an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Every time we start
Quantum Leap.
talking about movies, you remind me of all the movies I haven't seen.
Sorry. Oh, I closed
I'm
it.
way behind.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. Days of the
No, you're
year.
not.
Simplify Your Life Day, World Wildlife Day, Lantern Festival, World Hearing Day, and get ready, Rob, International Irish Whiskey Day. Cheers. Slanche. Nazdrovia.
Son,
Salud. Okay.
you mentioned Star Trek. That gets us the opportunity to bring up the Q, the Davy Wizard.
Mentalists.
You think he was a mentalist? Because he could manipulate matter at will.
Yeah, they can transmutate matter and time, anything.
If you're going to do magic, it has to have certain criteria. This whole time I've been thinking about that too. Because a sorcerer in Dungeons and Dragons is a spell specialist. Or is it which one has the points and they can only do certain spells?
Well, I don't know about 3rd edition, but in the current edition D&D, the 3 main arcane spellcasters are your wizard, your sorcerer,
Excuse me.
and your warlock. Your wizard earns power through many years of studying arcane tomes and ritual. Basically, he goes to wizarding college. Your warlock makes a deal with something more powerful in exchange, for some of its power. He serves that. And there are a lot of examples of that. Your sorcerer is somebody that is just innately magic. Maybe you had a fairy or a dragon or a demon somewhere in your ancestry, but you can just make magic happen without
Willy-nilly.
any real training.
Yeah.
But they tend to focus on illusions and evocations things. The range of things that you can do as a sorcerer. A wizard can do things that a sorcerer could never do because of the versatility. Sorcerers can do, usually they either ensorcel and charm people or they just blast you.
And then clerics get their powers from a god. Druids have like a nature.
Clerics and druids and
Paladins.
Paladins
Rangers.
and rangers are all faith-based magic, and they get their magic. Actually, I don't know if a ranger qualifies for that, but
I would consider them a hybrid fighter druid.
But that's applying, the D&D definition of what these things are. And that doesn't necessarily mean that those they're what we default to because they're what we know. But
later versions of Shadowrun have more delineations, but it's the word of the night for me. So, original Shadowrun, you have 3 options for mages, where magic, but because they don't have gods per se, you have totems, where these things are the essence of this animal, or the insect, or the jester spirit, which is a giant pain in the ass, or where the mages are more elemental. They deal more with the elements and the elemental planes. Because if you're a shaman, that totem is calling to you, whether it's dog or cat or crow,
whatever totem you belong with.
Rat, yes. Or alligator or crocodile, or where with mages, hermetic mages, it's a calculation to bring a power through the astral plane, through the body, and then it manifests as a spell. Whereas the shaman, you're taught like a dance or a song or maneuvers or some weird animal noises that create the spell. The third option is called an adept, and they use magical energy to improve their physical attributes. The problem is that with the adept, most of the stuff is like random. You can't cast spells unless you initiate into a group, but we'll get into that way later. So you kind of ceiling way before everybody else does in the group, because you can only raise your attributes so many times. You can only get so many things, and then you're done. That's it. You don't really get any more magic stuff. So I always steered players away from... There's 3 classes that I would not let you play in Shadowrun. One is an adept, because you're going to die. You don't know the game. This is a real tough character to play. The second is a decker, or in Cyberpunk it would be called a netrunner, where you deal only with computers. You're useless for 80% of the game. There's nothing for you to do except for that 20% of what's going on where you're researching the internet or trying to navigate some system in a building of some kind.
You want to play 2 characters in the game.
It's better to just give them an NPC and just improve that NPC from the beginning. Have him be...
Not let anybody be the wizard. I hear that.
Yeah, don't let him be the decker. The other problem is the decker in Shadowrun is the equivalent of the thief in D&D. So if you let a Decker character run wild, he's going to get all of the money and all of these things that are worth currency in the game. And then it's, it's the thief going into a castle in another part of the city and just robbing it blind. And when he meets up with the characters, where were you? Oh, I was at the cafe waiting for you guys. You need a new sword? I bought you one. So,
I was at the Circle K.
Yeah. Being a Decker is kind of like being the ultimate power in the computer. But, dude, in a gunfight, you're useless. Did I shoot anybody? You don't put any points into combat. You put them all in computer science, computer theory, hacking, sleaze, all the stuff that is involved in a Decker. And the third one is Burned Out Mage. It's the same thing as Burned Out Jedi in Star Wars. DMs will never let you play a has-been Jedi. And why in God's name would you want to play a has-been mage? And the archetype
Star Wars
sucks.
RPGs, you either need all Jedis or no Jedi.
Thank you very much. Shadowrun, your mages are going to become gods. They're absolutely needed in every instance of being in that world. But eventually they're just going to become gods, and the rest of the party is magic support. But you kind of need that because when you're fighting the higher level stuff, you're attacking it on multiple levels. In the physical plane, in the astral plane, in the ethereal plane. And you can't do that with just the magic guys. You have to have a lead hose laying down and a panther cannon shooting off grenades exploding everywhere because... You use the magic creatures in Shadowrun sparingly because the higher level ones are uber powerful. They're just devastating to the party. So you don't want to set them loose on new guys. They'll have to all make new characters.
Yeah, that's as a game master, I tell people it's like, and I learned this from another friend of mine. His game master name is Zombie Chemist, but I was playing in a game with him, and we were fighting basically the god of trash.
Ew.
And we lost.
Gross.
We lost. Total party kill. And so the gods of the realm gathered us up and said, well, there's work to be done, and we're not done with you yet, so... You got two choices. You can go back and have another shot at this, or you can go through that door and your afterlife is waiting for you.
Who's up for round 2?
Unfortunately, I was playing a Valor Bard who is all about honor and glory, and,
You Harper.
he died in combat fighting a god. What is more glorious than that?
Yeah.
So when given the opportunity to come back to life, he said, no, I've earned my afterlife. And he went through the door, and I started a new character in that campaign. And everybody was shocked that, you could have brought that character back. Why didn't you? Didn't you like the character?
I love it.
No, I love the character.
Yeah, why fuck up an epic story?
For the sake of role-playing, this is what he would have done. I'm in the character.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I would have felt... Had I played the character again, it would have felt hollow. There's another game, the game I play in on Monday nights. I was playing the Bard character who is ostensibly the leader of the party. And we use critical hits.
Nice.
And my character got critical hit, and he was going to die. There was no saving him. But between the game master and a couple of the other players, they contrived to come up with a way to save me. But they didn't tell me about it because they knew who I am and what I am. And it's like, all right, my character should be dead. The fact that he's not now is bullshit. I didn't say anything to them, but at the next opportunity...
They want you back. They want that character back more than you do.
Down the road, an opportunity came for my character to basically get himself dead. And so I did. And I still haven't told any of them that I let that character die because I felt he should have already been dead. He was one of my favorite characters of all time. And I would love to have continued playing him, but, the dice ruled that was my end.
Yeah.
And they contrived to change that. And as a gamer, it is a game. Sometimes you have to lose. Otherwise, you're just writing a novel.
It's not any fun.
Sometimes you have to lose, and sometimes you have to take the loss. And at my age, I'm at the point in role-playing games where my character died. Cool, I get to try something else.
Yeah, I want to do a new one. No, we've got around 15 or so minutes left. Let's discuss this Saturday's game. I hope you recorded it.
I don't think we did because it was a one shot, and we'd only had like 4 or 5 people there.
Still,
we should have.
I dropped the ball not telling Ed. That's all my fault. I feel absolutely terrible.
But all right, let's talk about the Saturday game. It was a one shot I originally wrote to run for GaryCon last year when I went. I was repping the Troll Lord games. I went on their dime and ran some games for them. And it was the Dowry of the Dwarf Princess. Basically, the ruler of the second largest dwarven beer clan and the third largest dwarven beer clan have arranged a marriage between them to form and make the largest beer clan. But the current largest beer clan sabotaged the wedding by hijacking the dowry, which was 10 kegs of silver tap reserve valued at between 2,000 and 5,000 gold pieces per cask. And you were tasked as a group with 3 days to run through an underground cavern system called the Gulch to get beer in time for the wedding so the wedding could go on.
Yeah.
You were given 25 barrels of beer. 10 had to make it through, and any above that you got to keep as your payment. They made it through with 15.
Nice.
It was the Baby Piercer Cavern that cost them the most.
Clay's
Baby
been talking about it since it happened. He had so much fun there.
Yeah, the only thing that was missing was if we'd have had the Barbarian, then he could have either done a Leroy Jenkins on the goblins we ran into, or he would have just downed a couple of kegs and had himself.
If there had been a barbarian or any dwarves in the party, you guys would have lost a keg a day to attrition.
I don't know what you're talking about. Where's the keg? Keg? There was a keg here? Yesterday there was
right
20.
Here.
There's only
okay,
19.
Where's the beer?
No, they sent us an empty barrel just in case.
We might need to hide later, and this barrel will come in handy for hiding.
That's okay. The next session is also looking at the 21st. Again, it's going to be a one-shot. This one is another one I had written, originally run at GaryCon. It's called The Seasoning of the Witch. The king's head cook has gone into the countryside to gather herbs for the harvest festival feast and has not returned, and the harvest feast cannot go on without the head cook. And so you, bunch of bumbling adventurers, got rounded up because nobody else was available, and you're going to have to go out into the countryside and find the head cook. And, of course, she went to pick herbs in a witch's garden.
You lot. Oh, great. Nothing like pissing off witches.
Sweet.
But, yeah, I had written both of these adventures. It's like, I'm going to, like, an ultimate gaming convention, and do I want to write another dungeon crawl or another goblin stomp? No, I got to come up with something just a little bit odd. Dwarven beer run.
Hell yeah. The Witches from the Witches movie. It was from the Roald Dahl book, and Angelica Houston plays the head witch. They made it in the late 80s. They turned the kid into a mouse. Stuart Little? Oh, it's not.
No, Stuart Little.
Maybe that's connected to. Never know. No, he's always been. No, it's it was a movie because I remember my sister saw it. I saw the commercials for it, but I never actually sat down and watched it because it was one of those. I was at work when it was on cable. But they're another magical group that hates and eats children. And they have all these mice that used to be kids. There's another thing. Pinocchio. Who's making the elixir that's turning boys into donkeys? That's definitely got a alchemy theme to it. That doesn't normally fucking happen in your kitchen. Oh no, I turned the children into muskrats. Oops. What? My mother's been cooking all her life. None of that shit's ever happened. Nobody ever turned into donkeys or got sick.
No, I'm looking forward to. I guess there's a new Pinocchio movie coming out, and it's more of a horror story.
The original story is a horror story. He hangs himself at the end of the. I watched a lot of documentaries on it on YouTube because he had to rewrite it because parents were like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Rewrite this shit." I was reading to this kid and I had to explain what the fuck suicide was. Why'd you keep reading out loud, dumbass? You should have made up an ending like most parents do.
And the Disneyland ride is pretty scary. Pinocchio ride at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Flashing lights. Day glow colors.
Mr. Toad Wild Ride is scary. Wind in the Willows. He goes to hell, and there's literally demons all around you when you're in the ride. I love that so much. Space Mountain.
Awesome.
Space Mountain.
They made a ride about that? Shit, that's traveling with my ex-wife, trying something.
Oh, that was good.
Reminds me of a short story by Stephen King, Mrs. Todd's Shortcut.
I am unfamiliar. I've read zero.
About this woman who likes to find shortcuts and shorter ways of finding her way through things. And one day she takes a trip and it takes her X amount of time. And the guy she's telling the story to is like, wait a minute, at this speed, at this, it would take you, there's no way you could do it in that amount of time. And so she's like, well, I used the shortcut. He's like, there would have to be, less than even if it was a straight line, the shortcut couldn't get you there. So Mrs. Todd took him on Mrs. Todd's shortcut. And basically she drove up into the Appalachians and into other dimensions to get where she was going.
That's terrifying.
So Mrs. Todd's shortcut was a dimensional hop. And he talks about his ride through some of the crazy shit that he saw when he rode with Mrs. Todd on her shortcut.
That's wild. Ambrose Bierce wrote a story called The Difficulty in Crossing a Field. They talk about it on Ancient Aliens, and I looked it up and saw a bunch of documentaries on him because he just disappears. But he was hanging out with unsavory characters, so yeah, we'll probably never find him. He's out in the middle of this, Sonoran Desert somewhere. But they talk about this guy who goes across this field, and in the middle of the field, he vanishes. And at the other end of the field, they can hear him, but they can't see him anywhere. And it's
You're in the end zone, Cardinal Stadium.
You're probably not wrong. But I can't think of any portals in Arizona. I know there's one or two, but
It's always been described as Sedona.
Both of you talked at the same time, and that made absolutely no sense. One of you go.
It's always been described in Sedona as being the area where more portals exist in Arizona, but then the Chiricahua is down south.
Jingo.
I was going to say, I imagine there's all kinds of things on the native Navajo land up north. There's, there's places that even the Navajo themselves don't go because of the powers that live there.
Most natives don't go outside when there's an eclipse. They know better. Stay in your house. At least you can sanctify that and kind of make it a grounding area.
Speaking of which, there was an eclipse last night.
Yes, there was. I missed it, but
I actually had my alarm set, but when the alarm went off at 3 o'clock, I'm like, I don't really want to see it that bad. I have witnessed full eclipses before in my life. They're awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't need to see everyone.
But at 60 years old, sleep is awesomer.
Yeah, I need to sleep a lot more now that I'm old and crotchety. Or
Sorry, my pillows and my blankets have accepted one of their own.
I cannot leave. I have been accepted into the tribe. I am soon to be leader. I have now mated with the alpha female. Sorry. So yeah,
So
this
I
Saturday.
like ascribing things to inanimate objects. I tell people at work I'm going to go home and spend time with my emotional support couch.
Oh,
Yes.
my excuse for leaving work is I must leave. You don't understand. My cats need me. There'll be no one there to open and close the door or open and close the cat food cans. What? No?
Or
Get
yell
back
at
to work?
For that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. All day long. So, Mr. Wiggles, and then I found there's an Ozempic commercial with Danny Trejo. Mr. Wiggles! Yeah. That was awesome.
I love Danny Trejo.
Me too.
He's one of those celebrities that is willing to laugh at himself. If you've not seen it, on the Disney Channel, there's an 8-part series called Muppets Mayhem.
Oh, no.
It's a TV show about the Electric Mayhem. And you need to see it.
Oh, I do.
Yep.
I love the Electric Mayhem.
You
No,
do. They basically they're trying to get their band back together.
Yeah.
And so they move into this house in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh, no.
And then they decide they're going to paint it Muppets Mayhem style. So they paint it up all crazy.
Bubbles
And then their agent comes along and says, "But that's not your house. That's your house."
Oh, no.
And we're like, "Oh, no. Whose house is it then?" And Danny Trejo shows up.
My house. Oh, shit. Sorry.
And of course,
Beautiful.
it turns out that Dr. Teeth and the rest of them are all, there's so many celebrity cameos in that
As it should be.
show.
Yeah.
There is. They're all over the place.
Oh,
People
good.
you wouldn't expect.
That's what I
My
want.
favorite part is at one point, Animal thinks that the band no longer needs him.
Oh.
So he quits and he runs away and he goes off soul searching. And he finds his true calling as a teppanyaki chef. And they're even calling him the chosen one.
Oh, man. That's funny. There is a disconnect because Animal is on a chain and wears a collar and he plays drums and you're accepting of the fact that he talks like a barbarian. But Cookie Monster is the only monster that talks like a barbarian, where even Oscar lives in the fucking trash and he's more eloquent than the monster that eats cookies.
Yeah, Grover doesn't talk like a barbarian either.
Oh, Super Grover. Yeah. So
Wasn't there another monster, an orange one, prior to Elmo?
yeah, there's Tully.
was Sully.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Sully.
Tully. I think it was
Sully.
Was it Sully or it was one of those.
All I remember is that when I watched Sesame Street, that was pre-Elmo. There was no Elmo.
The years of my younger sister Beth are the years that Mr. Snuffleupagus is no longer Big Bird's imaginary friend, where they're constantly
I
trying
remember
to
the
tell
episode
Big
when
Bird
Mr.
that-
Snuffleupagus actually made his debut.
Yeah, I remember all of my earliest Sesame Street memories. Mr. Hooper is alive. It's not just Mr. Hooper's store.
Yep.
Yes, I remember that. I
And-
remember watching the episode where he passed away,
Yeah.
and they dealt with it.
And they had to
They
explain
didn't
it.
shy away with it. They didn't shy
faced
away
it.
from it. They faced it.
Well, I'll
which
just
is
wait
the
till
only
he-
really thing they
Yeah.
could have done.
I'll just wait here till he comes back. No, Big Bird, he's not coming back. What do you mean? He's just at the hospital. He's not here anymore. And it's, you're even though Big Bird lives in his own nest on the other side of Oscar's trash heap, he's not really a child, but he's not completely an adult. He's a baby Huey kind of character in a sense, where he's like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. You don't realize how huge and destructive you are because you have the mind of a child. And takes them. Maria, and isn't it Maria and Luis that explained to him that once you die, you're never coming back? Because not many characters have died on the show. But they made I heard they made Snuffleupagus real because there was like a kid attacked, and they were telling about the adults thought the kids were talking about an imaginary friend, and really they were talking about this dangerous homeless guy and then all of a sudden Mr. Snuffleupagus is real. Stop trying to tell Big Bird that Mr. Snuffleupagus isn't real. They made it a thing because of that incident. That's what I heard. I don't know if I haven't researched that. So
there's probably I think I've heard similar stories that it wasn't, it was reinforcing negativity to tell this kid that his imaginary friend was only imaginary and not real.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And then they had the big dog. I remember they had the big giant dog that was like 2 people. And it was like orange, and it was like sheepdog looking. And it only lasted for a couple seasons, and then they got rid of it.
I don't think it even had a name.
Big fluffy dog. Well, I mean, Sesame Street used to be a random gamble, and it was awesome, and you never knew what you were going to see next. And then watching Sesame Street with my kids, this is all formulaic. This is like any other show. At this time, this happens. At this time, that happens. There, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, Elmo and Mr. Noodle. There you go. So it's like it kind of took a lot of the vaudeville-esque random sketch comedy feeling that early Sesame Street had. I don't know what this is going to be. This could be the painter guy, or this could be James Earl Jones yelling letters at me. Oh my God. Okay, Igloo. Incision. Sorry.
Anyways, Master Geeks, we are at the end of our time.
Reach the pumpkin hour.
We have reached the pumpkin hour.
Plugs.
However, should we want to, next week, I have Wednesday off, so I can stay up late and run my mouth until you guys get tired of it.
Really?
So
Really? You'll be at super secret cheese eater meeting, though.
I have stated meeting is tomorrow night.
Gouda night.
Next week, I think, is just a friend to friend, so I don't know that I have to be there for next. I'll find out more.
Hey, it sounds good to me. I'll figure it out. Plugs.
Right now, I don't have anything definitive. I am got a bunch of things cooking up, but nothing that I'm ready to tip my hand on yet.
Go check out Body and Soul Candles. Lauren is always making candles. She does an amazing job. I have jobs now. Everybody's getting candles for Christmas. You all love them. It's all right. Yep. But yes, thank you. Support your local geek.
I will put out there Eric Marsh Foundation. This last week, we in Arizona have skated up to and are looking down the throat of summer again. We've had kind of a dry season. The Eric Marsh Foundation is the memorial foundation for the Granite Mountain 19 firefighters that were killed in 2013.
Yeah.
Wildland firefighters up in Prescott. And each year, Scottish Rite Lodge, Scottish Rite Masons of Arizona, we donate to that program. Amanda Marsh, who is the director of our organization, is the widow of Eric Marsh, who was the team captain. So they provide assistance to families of fallen wildland firefighters. Before she started doing this, there was nothing to help these folks out. And last year, she ended up providing over $100,000 in support to families. wildland firefighters. This year, she just had her widows retreat where they bring widows from around the country who have lost their husbands to wildland firefighters. She has a program where they take them up into the Prescott Wilderness, and they have therapists, and these widows get together and they get to talk, and they go out on horseback rides, and they just get an opportunity to learn that they're not alone. So if you have the opportunity, Eric Marsh Foundation, look them up. They've got some great stuff out there. They do amazing work. If you can, donate a couple of bucks to them.
Martian Cat put a link to it in my chat if you want to catch it there.
Thank you. What else?
And with that...
Oh, okay. I was going to do...
Are we, you got more? Bring it.
Derek Barton, check out his books. He writes all kinds of detective, creepy stuff. It's horror. Damn it. Crystal Cast. Check out the website. Lots of dice deals. Well,
Cast spelled with an E on the end, right?
Yes.
C-A-S-T-E.
They're also friends of Troll Lord Games. They know all the guys because they all bought dice from them, and they do Gen Con and Fusion and all the things. There is a pirate festival coming up in Bisbee the first weekend of August, I was told. I met a guy who's involved with that where he told me the city shuts down and everybody goes to this pirate festival. Come out to the Renaissance Festival. Yeah, we're out there until the 29th is the last day. You can't see everything in one day. There's 3 jousts. There's a mayor's court, a king's court, street characters. There's 14 stages. And every half an hour, there's 14 shows starting up until the end of the day. There's like 200, 300 shops. The place is always changing. It's a little bit expensive, but totally worth it. And get there early because it's 9 miles east of Apache Junction in Gold Canyon, Arizona. Just, for being in Phoenix, it takes about an hour to get out there, traffic willing.
9 miles east and about 600 years.
Absolutely. Huzzah. Sorry, Jingo, go ahead for the closing. You're doing the thing.
I think we have wrapped it all up. Please like and subscribe on my channel, The Ship of Fools, and over at Bill's channel, Hornswoggle the Great. We will see you next week. And we'll see what kind of topic we can come up with next week.
Yeah,
I think I want to touch a little more on the history of role-playing games because I've been doing some homework on that, and I have some nice little nuggets of information to share with y'all.
Right on. I mean, we could do with a serious topic instead of just coming up and hanging out. We do that sometimes. So, thank you very much. Stay geeky. You could have watched anybody, but you decided to watch us, and we super appreciate that. Gentlemen, good evening. Always a pleasure.
Have
Pleasure
a good
to
night.
serve with you.
Y'all come back now.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys have a good one.